Create your own branded game with Stick and Play. It's quick and easy. See how it works. In this video tutorial, you will learn how to set up the Bubble game step by step. Let's start with designing your own branded game. In this step, you can set the looks of your game. In order to change graphics, just press the Change button and choose the file from your hard drive. Each graphic has its own fixed size. Make sure your files have the same. If you wish, you may download the default graphics and take a look at all the necessary files by clicking the Download button. You can always go back to default settings by pressing Reload icon. First, set the startup screen and graphics for play and help buttons in 3 versions. Standard one, when hovered by mouse pointer, and the pressed one. This will add some extra touch to your design. Next, add your own board background for each level. And the reset button in 3 versions. Standard one, when hovered by a mouse pointer, and the pressed one. Bubble is all about matching objects and clearing the board. Now, it's time to change the default objects that are going to fill the board. Swap the graphics of 5 objects with your own. Make them look interesting and vary from each other. Finally, add an obstacle, a neutral object placed on a board. It's sticky and does not disappear because it doesn't match with any objects. Make it stand out. You can adjust the number of obstacles in the game settings panel. Next, upload your own game over graphic. It shows up whenever the player fails to clear the board. Then you can move on to changing the final screen, which shows up after the game together with Play Again and Go to App buttons. The Go to App button shows up when you publish your game directly in Newsfeed and lets the user switch instantly to your application. Finally, it's time for your own Help screen, together with the Back button in 3 versions: default, hovered, and pressed. When you're finished designing the game, simply take a look at the live preview at the bottom of the page and check if everything you've changed fits well. When you're ready, go to the next step, Application View. If the player decides to take part in a competition mode, they will have to switch to your app. This is done simply by pressing Go to App button at the final screen of your game in Newsfeed. In this part, you can change all the graphics of the elements visible in Facebook application, which were not seen in Newsfeed. These are the app background, which is the screen behind the board game. Invite, share, and rank buttons in 2 versions, default and hovered. Big and small game icon of the application, visible in the application catalog and in case of application sharing. Public icon, visible in Newsfeed after the game has been published. The icon is supposed to encourage other users to play in Newsfeed and take part in your campaign. It's a good idea to add a slogan like "Click to play." Fangate background. This is where your like widget will appear when you set up a fangate. Technical break. This screen will show up when you schedule a break in your campaign for any changes in the application. When you're done with all the graphics, it's time for setting up your game's mechanics. In this step, you will set all the parameters of the game and its difficulty level. You may configure each level separately. We recommend setting the first level as the easiest one and the third as the hardest. Start with adding some objects. Pick one object, and by clicking on the board, decide where you want to put it. Repeat the step until you fill the board with the desired amount of objects. To get rid of unwanted objects, use the eraser. Press the icon and simply click on the object that you want to delete. Then, set the number of the same adjacent objects required to disappear. The bigger the number, the harder the game is. Next, set the number of new objects appearing on the board after a false move. The bigger the number, the more challenging the game is. Finally, adjust new objects settings. Set 0 if you want new objects to be the same as the recent shot ones, or set 1 if they should appear randomly. Click Save and test how good is your game in the preview. When you're satisfied with the playability of your game, switch to font settings. Here you can customize all the fonts, their look, size, alignment, and position. Please remember to press Save whenever you change your settings. Timer description. Enter the text describing the gameplay duration. Text alignment. Adjust the setting of the text in relation to all graphics. Font editing. Choose a font, adjust its size and color. If you can't find your desired color on the color palette, simply type in its hex code. If you don't see the font you need, just drop us a line. We'll add one. Text position. Adjust vertical and horizontal position of the text. Now, repeat the same steps for level and final score. Check if all your font settings are appropriate. And when you're done with all the editing, it's time for the final stage. Setting up your own Facebook application. Please type carefully. Whenever you save your information, Facebook automatically imports some of the data, and it may not be possible to change anything. Adjust the settings of your Facebook application and schedule your campaign. Let's start with the game name. Enter the name for your game. It will show up as a name for Facebook application and will be displayed in the Publish App window. Next, set your application address. It's your app's unique address. Just put the name that is going to appear after the slash mark. Use only letters. No commas or numbers are allowed. Then, put it in your fan page address, the link that the app is supposed to be assigned to. Please remember to type in the HTTPS secured link. In the publication text area, type in the text that will encourage your fans to play your game. Next, move on to the promotion start. Set the exact time, date, and hour for the launch of your campaign. Remember to put in the hour just a little bit before the time of your app going public. Adjust the promotion end. Set the date and the exact hour for the end of your campaign. Then results announcement. Set the time when the contest results will be presented. Don't forget the rules. Simply upload the file with terms and conditions of your contest. Finally, with switch buttons, adjust your settings regarding rank. Decide whether you want your players to see the rank list. Even if it's off, you as an admin can still see it. You can switch it anytime you wish. Publication. Decide if you want to prompt users to publish their scores on their Facebook timeline. Fangate. Decide whether you want users to like your fan page prior to playing in your app. Technical break. Whenever you feel you have to update your game, setting, or graphics, you can switch on the break and display the technical break screen that you've customized in the first step. Facebook API score. Decide if you players shall get notifications about their friends' scores. That's it. You're done. Whether you feel you would like to introduce some additional customization that you couldn't do yourself in the creator, type in your needs in the additional customization text area, and we will do our best to answer them as soon as possible.